Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here as we prepare for the 9th race of the season for the TNR Master Millwright Big Block Series. Drivers finished up their qualifying laps to determine the heats that they will be in during the course of this evening's festivities, thus determining their starting position for the 35-lap main event. I'm Seth Cole, as always, joined by Matthew Rodriguez. And Matt, if we go back the last few weeks, Weedsport, Lernerville, Cedar Lake, one of the things that we talked about was in a league where these drivers love to take it 3 and 4 wide, we've been at tracks where there's not a whole lot of space to do that. Well, they can race 3 and 4 wide to their heart's content here tonight because Knoxville is one of the widest dirt tracks we go to.
It gives a lot of these guys some room to stretch out, kind of spread their legs a little bit. I've kind of noticed here, Nicholas Chambron really seems to be kind of the class of the field here at the moment, obviously taking the win last week. He's looking to maybe go for a double.
Yeah, riding the momentum. His debut race, a trip to victory lane last week at Cedar Lake. He was fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying, and he'll actually roll off third for this first heat. Also, there's going to be a driver we're very familiar with, but he's making his debut here in TNR. That's going to be the number 88 of Grant Wesley. He'll be alongside of Josh Gerlach, who had a top 3 run last week. Finished third, I believe, at Cedar Lake. He'll be rolling off second. Nicholas Chambron, as just mentioned, he'll be third alongside the points leader Bobby Trapper. Zane Burke Jr. in the 29 will be rolling fifth, and John Borscht will be bringing up the 6th position last car in this heat. I believe Borscht is making his debut here tonight as well.
I really like Grant Wesley here because I'm seeing him, and we've talked to him in previous leagues, and he has really liked Knoxville. I see him as being kind of one of those guys for a threat tonight.
Yeah, Grant Wesley, in another league that we broadcasted past 2 seasons, he swept Knoxville. So he's very at home when it comes to a track like this. And he will be using that extreme outside line before the evening's over, right up there against that steel guardrail, I guarantee you. We'll see if he migrates up there in this heat race. Obviously, good starting track position in this heat. But one thing that we know is if you end up winning the heat, yes, you end up getting those valuable bonus points, but you are going to start mired back in the field for the 35-lap main feature.
Absolutely. So, like we saw last week, I remember Bobby Trapper had that same issue where for most of the race, he was really trapped. He got his heat win, but just with so many cars in the field and how small the track was, that was the biggest issue. But this being a biggest track, or one of the bigger tracks of the season, I would not be surprised to see him kind of rise his way to the field again.
It's a big field here tonight as well. 16 drivers scheduled to take the green flag in tonight's main event. For Bobby Trapper, 60 points in hand over Kenneth Drake coming into tonight with only 4 races remaining on the season. We'll see if he's able to rack up more heat points. That's what he's been doing the last couple of weeks as Grant Wesley leads us into 1 and 2.
We kind of saw just the thing of this track has so many lanes that you can really play around with where, listen, if you want to go high, you want to go low, guy first kind of has a little bit of difficulty blocking that unless they have a really good run.
Going to be second place, the side-by-side battle with Josh Gerlach on the top. Inside, Nicholas Chambron trying to make it 3 wide there with Grant Wesley, but Gerlach couldn't quite get to the left rear quarter panel. Now Chambron going to go 2 for 1. He gets by Gerlach, now goes to work on Wesley for the race lead.
Now, Seth, we see that kind of discoloration of a dirt lane right there at the bottom. You told me earlier what that is, but obviously a little bit of a dirt banking here, and that's almost considered the apron when you're pulling off a pit road. It does sometimes age you. You hit it correctly, it can kind of shift your car a little bit to the left, but hit it wrong way, it will shift your car all the way up the track.
We're here at a third-person standpoint, and even looking at it, it looks like it's a perfectly graduated banking from the top down to the bottom, but you're right, it's a bit of an uphill onto that apron for these drivers. And so these drivers have to be very careful that they run the fine line, not necessarily go up onto that apron, because I saw a couple of guys in practice misjudge where that apron began and actually have their left side tires come off the ground. And you need all 4 tires on the racing surface if you're going to make it around here in one piece.
I see that becoming a bigger issue later in the race, where the brain fade starts to set in and where you're trying to kind of go around the track searching for, and you just can't follow you. You see that little bit of discoloration, you put your car there, and then it's got kind of sudden realization, there's a dirt banking here, and suddenly get shot to the track. So I would be surprised to see maybe an incident or 2 revolving around that later in the race.
Halfway through, so a little contact there for fourth as John Borscht gets around Grant Wesley, who has faded back from the race lead now to the 5th position. Might be testing some stuff out here possibly for the main event, trying to see what it's like up there on the top. Get a little bit of something in the mental notebook when we get to main event racing time. Right at the moment, though, Chambron looks back, and the battle's going to be for second place. Gerlach got a nice run there through 1 and 2, almost got alongside the outside of Bobby Trapper, who right now is slotted in second place, looking to rack up some more bonus points.
You talk about Grant Wesley. It looked like he really faded ever since that contact with Trapper, at least a little bit early in the race. It's almost like Trapper just barely nicked the left rear or right rear tire of his kind of modified there and shot him up the racetrack. I don't know if something's bent or broken on that.
Trapper so far this season has not finished outside of the top 5 in all 8 races he has taken part in. He's gone to victory lane in 3 of them, and right now looking to rack up what would be 4 bonus points here in this heat if he finishes second place to Nicholas Chambron. But this thing ain't over yet. Lap and a half to go, and he's only about 2 car lengths back.
You gotta think Bobby Trapper has had the most bonus points out of these heats this season, so obviously he's looking to continue that here.
He's going to drive it deep to the inside there. Chambron not going to be able to complete the pass. Nicholas Chambron, after taking the checkered flag in the main event last week at Cedar Lake, he'll take the checkered flag here in this heat, followed by Trapper, Gerlach, Wesley, and John Borscht. They will all get heat bonus points, and going back to the point you made, you are correct. 36 bonus points for Bobby Trapper. The next closest behind him with 33 bonus points is Jason Freeman, who's going to take part in this upcoming heat race. He will be rolling off third as David Harvey will be lining up on the pole position for heat number 2. Nick Cohan will be alongside him in the 21. Of the double check, I believe Cohan is making his second start on the year. Yes, he is. Jason Freeman rolls off third with Thomas Oleski, who always seems to be really good at the heats. He's going to roll off fourth. Austin Allen, he is making his debut here tonight. He'll be 5th in the 27, and Mike Tellier will bring up the rear here in this second heat, rolling off 6th.
We still kind of have, there's still a possibility of a championship battle coming here later in the race or races if there happens to be an issue of Bobby Trapper or just kind of some unfortunate event relies on it. But Kenneth Drake, Jason Freeman, and Billy Thornton really kind of had that last chance, but Jason Freeman's some guy that I've really noticed kind of takes advantage of these heat races and really is able to kind of pack in the points. He's really the second most driver who's been really able to add these points.
Jason Freeman is the only driver inside the top 4 in the point standings that has not gone to victory lane this season. Trapper, Drake, and Thornton all around him in the top of the standings. They have been to victory lane, a couple of them multiple times. So the question is tonight the night for Jason Freeman to finally snap that winless streak and find victory lane? He could get things started here tonight, show off his speed, pick up a heat victory possibly.
Just getting started on the right foot where, again, Jason Freeman, and same thing of Kenneth Drake, they've had multiple opportunities this season to really kind of capitalize on Cummings, and it just hasn't happened where, here's the thing, we're kind of getting the last 3 races of the season where you kind of have to make this move now or never.
Ooh, around the top side, what a power move there by Nick Cohan. And we kind of saw that happen in the first heat race as well, where the outside line, at least at the initial start through 1 and 2, seems to get a little bit better momentum. I don't know if it's that you're able to stay in the throttle a lot longer or what it is, but Cohan proving right there that you might not necessarily want to be the pole sitter for the race, the upcoming main event. You might want to be the outside pole sitter.
I mean, looking up there, it seems to be a little bit more grip and a lot more of the cushion up there where they have a lot more room to play around. I'd say definitely later in the race. Again, this will be about 20 laps on the car or in the track here at the moment. You seem to be really able to do a lot with that top lane.
I looked coming into the night with 16 drivers scheduled to take the green flag. This will be the 4th largest field that they've had so far this season. They've had 2 races where 19 drivers have taken part, 1 race where 18 drivers have taken part. And the reason I kind of looked at that is because mentioned the fact that there's 60 points right now between Bobby Trapper and Kenneth Drake. You're going to need large fields down this stretch to be able to play into possible big point swings if something happens to Trapper and somebody like Drake or Freeman is able to find a new groove and get momentum down the home stretch.
Realistically, what Freeman needs to do next week would be charging this back through the field and maybe he's trying to throw a water bottle over at Bobby Trapper, trying to slow him down and dominate the race. That's realistically what needs to happen.
Saw right there, that gave you an idea of where the apron starts and the racetrack ends with Thomas Oleski. Had both his front tires actually on the apron that last lap. Got him a little out of shape and drops him back into the clutches of Austin Allen for 4th position. Meanwhile, up at the front, Jason Freeman putting the pressure on Nick Cohan for the top position, closing on 4 laps to go.
Cohen seems to be really committed to the upside, but Freeman's really kind of running that middle line and seems to be getting some grip.
Now remember that the drivers in heats 2 and 3, if we end up having that many, they run on the same track surface left them by the drivers in heat 1. They do not have a new wetted track surface, if you will, a brand new surface to work with. So we may end up seeing that outside line start to come into play a little bit more here in this heat and the upcoming 3rd heat. Whoa, man, Nick Cohan, don't know what he hit right there, but it looked like there was a bit of a bump.
That's the thing. I've noticed that this track has a few grooves in it where if you start to hit it, it's not evenly really smooth surface. So I'd be kind of concerned about running that high up.
Freeman's going to pull away here. He's now opened up 2 car lengths back to Nick Cohan. That translates to about 0.4 of a second. David Harvey starts to close up the gap between himself and the 21, so there may be a brewing battle for second in the closing laps of this race.
David Harvey's really been on a hot streak these last few weeks. I mean, he's kind of came alive since his early woes in the season. Kind of been that consistent threat here.
Down through 3 and 4 for the final time for Jason Freeman. Cohan drives it deep, can't get alongside. And Jason Freeman's going to pick up the victory here in heat number 2. Nick Cohan behind him in 2nd. Harvey, Oleski, and Austin Allen going to get heat bonus points here as they're your top 5 in this 2nd heat. It now sets us up for the 3rd heat. It's going to have Bobby Puckett. That's a driver that always seems to be really good when it comes to these heat races, and he's got good starting track position here tonight alongside of the 4 of Brian Rubel. James Allen in the 47. He's making his debut here tonight. He'll be rolling off 3rd alongside of 4th in points Billy Thornton. 2nd in points, the 2-time winner Kenneth Drake will be rolling off from the 5th position, and alongside of him will be Garrett Gleason. This will be the 3rd and final heat of the evening, and it will be the last opportunity for drivers to get bonus points in the heat races here tonight.
You know, I'm kind of looking at Brian Rubel here, and I remember last week he was such a pinball. I'm going to bet he's kind of hoping for a better outing this week.
The thing we're going to have to keep an eye on here is we ended up seeing the inside line was definitely the preferred line in the 1st heat. We saw the middle line kind of be where most drivers migrated to in the 2nd heat. Is the 3rd heat where we start to see the rim riders, or do you think there is still enough grip maybe in the 2nd or 3rd groove up from the apron for these drivers to utilize in this 10-lap shootout?
I think there's still grip down low, but I would not be surprised to see a lot of these guys start to migrate on the track, try to find those lanes that are kind of left there by the other racers.
Well, Bobby Puckett has definitely been very good when it comes to these heat races. As mentioned, he has 22 bonus points in heat races coming into this event. He's 5th in the point standings as well. As a matter of fact, you look at your front row, Bobby Puckett and Brian Rubel. They're drivers we talk about during the heat races, but not necessarily during the main events, yet they've been very consistent, both of them respectively 5th and 6th in the points.
And that's the thing where these consistency, and yes, they may not be flashy, but at least they're kind of still there where they're not really within range of attacking for the championship, but honestly, if something catastrophic happened, they're kind of one of those dark horses. Man, Bobby Puckett just slid across the bumper.
That's Brian Rubel, actually, that I think almost got turned by, I think that was James Allen in the 47. Somehow they kept it straight. That 4 car was facing down towards the inside guardrail.
Yeah, I think it was actually Billy Thornton in the 11 that he just kind of slid across the nose of. But that's the thing where, man, Rubel just really cannot catch a break on some of these restarts where he kind of gets really shuffled out. He's great later in the race, but just it seems like on the restarts he just does not have the grip and the pace.
Well, it looked like, at least from the camera angle that we had there off of turn 2, he got a great run off the 2nd corner, wanted to cross over Bobby Puckett, but had Billy Thornton to his inside. So very unfortunate there for Rubel as he falls back to 4th place, trying to battle with Kenneth Drake for the 3rd position. James Allen right there as well, so a good 3-horse fight for that Actually, now it's going to be a battle for second place. Drake on the inside almost drifts up into Billy Thornton. They'll continue to race about maybe a car length and a half behind Bobby Puckett.
So, looks like James Allen got a little bit of that cushion apron a little bit. That knocked him up the hill, puts him all the way back to fifth.
I know that you went out there on the track to do a little bit of testing around here, see what these drivers are dealing with. For a driver in the cockpit, how difficult visually is it to see where the racetrack ends and that apron begins?
I mean, I speak from the visually impaired folks, but listen, I kind of had trouble differentiating that kind of dirt apron there where it looks like a little divot in the road where I can kind of just still kind of run there and it wouldn't be that big of an issue. But when you get closer, man, that is such a hill there where if you're not expecting it, it will just look at Kenneth Drake here. Or my apologies, Billy Thornton here. He's attacking that apron, just kind of sliding back off almost in the Puckett. That just shows you how aggressive, kind of a rake that is.
But this move here by Kenneth Drake to the front of the field, we mentioned already that the top two with bonus points this season, Bobby Trapper and Jason Freeman, 24 bonus points, third highest, Kenneth Drake. And we ended up seeing his opponent, if you will, Bobby Trapper, finish second back in the first heat race. So if Kenneth Drake can close out the third heat with a victory, that's at least 1 point he's going to gain before we even get to the main event here tonight on Trapper.
That's where it just got to stay consistent. And I'm looking back here through the field. Man, speak for Rubel's night and Puckett's night, man. They had not had a good showing here in these heats. And as I'm noticing here, it looks like they're only taking 5 out of each heat here. So it looks like there will be a consolation race and only one will advance. So that's the thing where you really don't want to be an odd man out.
At it 3 wide back here with Allen, Puckett, and Rubel, all battling for spots inside of the top 5, trying to figure out who's going to get what in terms of the bonus points for this heat, as Drake just took the white flag. He's got about 4, maybe 4.5 car lengths back to Billy Thornton. Nice and smooth through 3 and 4, and Kenneth Drake will turn and head for home to pick up the victory here in the third and final qualifying heat here tonight. Billy Thornton second. James Allen is going to cross the line. Oh, correction, Bobby Puckett actually got the third position by 12 1/1000ths over James Allen, and Brian Rubel will finish fifth in this heat race.
I'm going to tell you, Kenneth Drake did that to give him the boost in points here. And I guess I'm wrong. They just jumped straight to the feature. My apologies.
All 18 drivers will take part in tonight's 35-lap event. Again, to remind everybody, 35 green flag laps. Any caution laps under pacing will not count. And that could be very important here for potential late race restarts for these drivers, as Bobby Puckett is going to inherit the pole position for this main event based off of the qualifying results from those 3 heat races. David Harvey will be alongside of him in second. Josh Gerlach and Billy Thornton will be in row 2. Nick Cohan and points leader Bobby Trapper in row 3. Kenneth Drake, our heat 3 winner, and Jason Freeman, our heat 2 winner. They will make up row 4. Our heat 1 winner, Nicholas Chambron, follows them in 9th, with Grant Wesley completing the top 10. Thomas Oleski and James Allen, they'll be in row 6. Row 7 with John Borscht and Austin Allen. 15th place will be Brian Rubel, Zane Burke Jr. alongside of him in 16th. And the final row, row 9, will hold Mike Tellier and Garrett Gleason. 18 drivers, 35 laps of racing here tonight, and theoretically about 4, maybe 5 available grooves of racing.
I'm going to tell you, a lot of these drivers are looking left, looking right, saying, look at all this space. Look at what we didn't have last week. And they're really going to be taking advantage of this.
I think that the last track we were at where they could take it really, really wide, 3 and 4 rows abreast, probably had to have been either Eldora or Lanier. And that was about 4 or 5 weeks ago. These drivers we know are very aggressive on restarts, like to take it 3 wide and sometimes 4 wide on occasion when they're all bunched up. So get ready, folks. We're going to be in for a very interesting start to this race, I guarantee you.
That's the thing, a lot of these drivers, they know they have to capitalize on these race starts, because that's where a lot of these drivers are really pinched close together and you can make the most moves. But obviously it comes at a very big risk of, hey, this is where the pileups happen.
Here we go. Bobby Puckett and David Harvey get us underway here tonight at Knoxville. Little stack up back there around the 5th position. They're already 3 wide there.
Yeah, notice someone in the wall over there. It actually looked like James Allen in the 47. Just trying to get a little bit too much wall, but it looks like Jason Freeman got hit around. Still saves it.
He does. He keeps it straight. Everybody for the time being keeping it straight through the entire field. Up at the front, Thornton tries to get to the outside of Bobby Puckett. He's got to his inside Josh Gerlach, and David Harvey, I didn't even see him swing around the outside of the 40 machine. Took me by surprise, and he's going to open up several car lengths, 3, maybe 4 off of the final corner.
That's what I tell you, but David Harvey's just come to life these last few weeks and has really been giving everyone a run for their money.
Interesting, you see the 69 of Bobby Trapper up on the top side. We're so used to seeing him be one of the advocates of the inside line. Now he's stuck in the middle, 3 wide, maybe 4 wide, as here comes Kenneth Drake up the inside line.
And look at that, there's just so many lanes here where we honestly can stick about 4 or 5 wide without too much worry, but I just noticed Gerlach kind of push Kenneth Drake down there to the bottom.
Take a look here on board with Kenneth Drake in the 71, running right down there on that fine line, right near the uphill apron, the lowest place you can possibly go on the racetrack before hitting that hill. A little further back there is Thomas Oleski. He looks on at the 3 wide racing and double wide racing up ahead of him.
Chambron just got doored by Jason Freeman. He almost sent it in the Grant Wesley.
Chambron right now back in the eye of the storm, if you will. He, Wesley, Jason Freeman all battling 8th through 10th. You've got all 3 of your heat winners back here in the latter half of the top 10. Drake, Freeman, and Chambron, 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Jeez. Jason Freeman almost sent it in the back of Kenneth Drake there, and that could have been a short night for him.
Just saw somebody get into the wall up ahead. Might have possibly been the 69 of Bobby Trapper, but didn't look like it was a hard hit into that outside wall. Bear in mind, though, it's no safer barriers here. It's steel guardrails, so any impact you make is probably going to tear up that car pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like Trapper's touching the wall just a little bit out of some of these corners. Jason Freeman's around.
And caution will fly. Freeman's going to get the thing going again. Oh, wow, almost got hit by, was that the 27 of Austin Allen nearly hitting him?
Oh,
got just low enough.
That is a heads-up move.
Let's take a look back and see what happened to our Heat 2 winner. Jason Freeman was up around the 8th position, I believe, at the time.
Yeah, it looked almost just like a disagreement on space, that they both expected the high line when they left the corner, and pretty much the 47 just kind of came up, and they both met in the middle, and Freeman just got a little bit of assistance from the car behind. I think that may have been Wesley, yes.
Kind of killed his momentum. Yeah, he was trying to get the thing to not hit the outside. Oh, woo, somebody might have possibly been the 000 of John Borscht. Just barely got around on the outside, almost got clipped in the left rear, but very fortunate for Jason Freeman in the fact that it was just a solo spin, really no contact, so to speak. The heartbreak for him, though, is he's going to have to work his way back up through the field here. He does have plenty of laps to do it, but was up there inside the top 10, now going to restart back in 17th.
Well, it's what we saw with Nicholas Chambron and Kenneth Drake almost, where you really don't want to be kind of stuck in the back of the pack here, since it takes so long to kind of claw your way back up. And with Knoxville being a little bit longer track, everyone's really at full throttle at the end of these straightaways, so you don't really have a speed advantage from knowing the correct line. It's a lot of these drivers are running the same speed, and the lines are taken by multiple people. You kind of have to be slow, methodical for getting back.
And here's the thing, too. I mean, we mentioned the fact how spacious this track is, but drivers are going to utilize the old adage, go where they aren't. And so when you're back there in 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, more than likely every single one of the lanes you would like to run, somebody's going to be running there. So it's not as simple as go up to the high line, nobody's going to be there. More than likely you're going to encounter somebody running the identical line you are. So you have to be very patient, very slow, and very methodical in how you work your way back up to the front, all the while being aware of where everybody else is in relation to your car.
And you got to remember, so
Bobby Puckett! Up from behind by Billy
Oh!
Thornton. Caution's going to come out as that was right up there at the front of the field.
Jason Freeman just spun out the car, barely missed him.
Somebody else back there is facing the wrong way. Couldn't tell who that was. Possibly it was Garrett Gleason. Yeah.
Heads-up awareness from Jason Freeman to kind of realize that he couldn't get stopped soon enough, so he spun out the car. But I think he might have gotten a little bit contact from Mike Tellier there.
Thornton, Bobby Puckett definitely got some help. I think it was the 11 of Billy Thornton that got him from behind, spinning him out in front of the rest of the field. I'm not certain which car it was that actually spun the 40 car completely around in front of the field. It might have been
I
Thornton
think it was
again, actually.
Gerlach. No, I believe it was Gerlach there. He got a load of assistance from the 11, kind of got him around, and I think Gerlach finished him off.
Good call there. Boy, you see Brian Rubel using that uphill apron to get around that wreck, and Bobby Puckett actually kind of got away unscathed. It was drivers further back like Jason Freeman and Garrett Gleason that were left at the scene of the accident having to refire their race cars. The 40 just kind of did a little 180 and kept going.
Exactly understand why Jason Freeman, he did a really smart move by he really spun out the car before he hit the 40 to save it, but he didn't hit the brake at all and ran right in the tellier.
Take a look here from the 20 of Jason Freeman. There you see the green flag flies. Watch up ahead for the white and red number 40 machine. There he is, spun the wrong way. Freeman, whoo! Boy, that car almost went up and over there for a brief moment riding on board with him.
It looks like he kind of determined the risk, and it was a little bit, I guess, a little bit less risky to kind of spin out the car, avoid the accident, but I think it may have put him in a worse situation by getting hit.
I think he made a little contact there with, I think that was the 97 of Mike Tellier. It would have been with the right front, but Tellier did not come to pit road. Continues on. Nobody on pit lane after this incident, so they all keep it going.
Ooh.
All 18 drivers to take the green flag here. Talk about a stack-up.
Yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of disagreement between Oleski and Allen. Oleski looked like he wanted to jump the start, but Allen just wasn't going.
Here comes Bobby Trapper. He's found the inside line that he likes so much. He's going to try and take the top position away from Dave Harvey. They're 3 wide, almost 4 wide behind him. Nick Chambron's in the middle of that, along with Kenneth Drake and James Allen.
It's definitely no secret. Just look how many cars are kind of stacked on the outside lane. It seems like the outside lane easily is the kind of more preferred choice at the moment.
It's interesting that we're seeing so many drivers migrate up there as early on as this. Usually in a 35-lap race, we end up seeing them go up to that top line.
Car around! It looks like John Borscht.
It is. Up against the outside wall, the 000 machine. Caution is going to fly as they were
looks
trying.
like it was Freeman.
They were trying to wreck up there around the third, fourth position, so this caution may have just saved a couple of drivers.
Honestly, I think that's kind of a miscalculation by the 20 of Jason Freeman. Just really looks like he really tried to send it in there, get past Puckett, but in terms of racing Puckett, he didn't anticipate the hit John Borscht there.
I think you definitely hit the nail on the head with the word send. I mean, he sent it in on that inside line and was already 3 grooves up by the time he made contact with the left side of Borscht's machine.
Well, now he kind of gets the penalty here, and he has to go all the way to the back of the field, so makes your long night even longer.
And a tough debut, it looks like, for the 21 of Nick Cohan, who finished, if I recall correctly, 3rd in his heat race. He has taken his car back to the garage area. He'll finish 18th here tonight, so not the debut, obviously, that he was looking for. Put up a very good showing back in that heat race, and would have liked to have seen what he'd have been able to do here as far as the finishing result in the 35-lap main event, but unfortunately we're not going to get to find out.
And that's the only unfortunate part where may have had damage, or again, things happen. You kind of have to go rapidly, so it wouldn't surprise me if there's something came up.
So 17 drivers still left in this race, as we'll have 25 laps to go when they get the green flag. Harvey elects the outside line. Bobby Trapper on the inside. Josh Gerlach, Kenneth Drake, and James Allen. That's going to be your top 5 when we go back green flag racing. Harvey very committed to that outside line, although I'm a little surprised he would give the inside to Bobby Trapper, a lane that he's been very good at all season long, no matter what track it is. Back under the green flag we go, and they will be side by side into turn 1. Let's see who gets the runoff of 2. Trapper looks to clear. Harvey battles back, and nope, they're still dead even.
I think Harvey's more top lane, but Trapper knows how to run that bottom better.
And Kenneth Drake up the middle now, going to make it a 3-car fight for the top position.
Seth, I'm seeing a guy up here that we all know too well at this track. Has to be Grant Wesley. He's kind of really been stealthily working his way through the field here. And he's one of those guys that just kind of randomly appears at the end of the race and really kind of gives you a show.
Definitely does. He's 3 wide right now with Nick Chambron. I believe that was Josh Gerlach in the 071 way up on the top side. It's a 3-way battle for the 4th position. James Allen very close to the left rear quarter panel of the 0-1 there through turn 2.
Just looking through the field, it looks like still the majority is out on the top side where they really like the top lane just for grip and the runs off the corner. Notice that the 11 of Billy Thornton got the wall a little bit. He's still going.
We talked about back in the heat races, drivers running the, I'll put this in air quotes, top line. Now they're really up there, almost trying to have that right rear quarter panel just around the outside. Wow, woo, was that the 47 of Allen? He did not take that corner correctly.
Actually, really wasn't him taking the corner incorrectly. As Chambron really used him as a doorstop there, kind of using him how to turn the corner better, and Allen got the wall. He's still going.
Bobby Trapper right now about maybe 2 car lengths back to David Harvey. Then you got Josh Gerlach, who's coming off a 3rd place run last week at Cedar Lake, trying to have back-to-back podiums.
Freeman's around.
Wesley. And there you go, Brian Rubel. Yep, 4-car Brian Rubel facing the wrong way there, gets the thing refired. 4th caution of the night, closing on 20 laps to go.
Well, I thought it was Freeman who spun around, but it looks like Freeman was also involved again. He has not had a good night.
Take a look and see what happened here. This was, I
Looks like
believe,
more of
into
the same.
3.
More of the just sending and unfortunately just not being clear.
And you see right there, he kind of realized he was in trouble. You could see the car bogged down just before he got to Rubel. That was him on the brakes, trying to stop that momentum drifting up the hill, but just not in time.
That's the thing where, obviously, I don't believe it's intentional. I just don't think he believes that the car would have slid out that much.
I'm going to take an onboard look here because it didn't look like Freeman hit that apron, but I'm wondering if it's possible if you clip that apron just a little with the left front, if that would upset the car so much they would actually shoot it up the track as if the car was almost kind of not turning in the corner.
It's quite easy to weight shift this car, so it wouldn't surprise me if a little bit installed.
It was really interesting there. You kind of almost most of the time at dirt tracks see a driver countersteer into the corner, but it's a nice smooth motion. You saw Jason Freeman there with that onboard. He was really fighting the wheel, so it looks like he's having a little bit of difficulty getting that car to settle in the direction he wants it to on corner entry, and he's been involved in the past 2 yellow flags so far here tonight. It's going to drop him to the back yet again. Bobby Trapper, the race leader here on this restart. David Harvey to his outside. Then Josh Gerlach, Grant Wesley, and Nicholas Chambron. Chambron trying to go for back-to-back victories here in his first 2 starts.
This is a pretty stacked top 5.
Definitely is. Ooh, man, they're 3 wide. Wesley up the middle. Drake in the inside line. And I believe that was either Allen, the 47, or maybe David Harvey in the 17 that was on the top side of that 3-wide situation. Look at Harvey. Almost practically into the wall there going into that corner.
Your Harvey's just tearing down that fence, but he's still in it.
Takes the extreme outside line again, slides it up to that steel guardrail outside wall. And we'll try and get a run here on the straightaway alongside of Grant Wesley for 3rd place. Meanwhile, Bobby Trapper has checked out. Right now, about 9/10 of a second back to Josh Gerlach. That's the biggest lead any driver has had here tonight, heats included.
That's the thing where Trapper really used that bottom lane to his advantage and just kind of had, by virtue of having the entire track ahead of him and not having to really lift for anyone, he's been able to utilize the entire track here.
They're racing 3 wide, even outside of the top 10. I saw Bobby Puckett, Billy Thornton, and I believe it was Thomas Oleski that were 3 wide for the 8th position. 3 wide up here. That's going to be almost 4 wide coming off a turn 4 there with Wesley, Drake, Harvey, and Chambron.
They're all going for it here. Looks like Wesley tapped the wall a little bit. I'm kind of looking back here near Chambron, and Chambron looks like he's having a bit of a tough time dealing with the 71F.
Let's remember that Chambron was the fastest in practice. He was the fastest in qualifying. Not sure how many cars were around him when he put down his practice lap time. He was out on the track all by his lonesome when he put down his qualifying lap. And of course, he also had good starting track position when he won the first heat tonight.
Previous, looked like Josh Gerlach led the troops off the cliff. He hit the wall and the 2 cars behind him went with him.
Caution!
Looks like the car's around, maybe Austin Allen? I
Mike
should
Tellier.
know, Brian Rubel, again.
Oh, Mike Tellier! Oh, no! Oh, the counterweight. You talked about it. It flipped the 97 over as he was turning the car back around.
Kind of like an upside-down turtle. That's fortunate.
Let's take a look and see what happened, as he was one of 2 drivers involved in the wreck. The other one, I believe, was the 4 of Brian Rubel. And actually, I think the Rubel incident happened long before the 97 came on the scene.
Man, I kind of reiterate that again. Jason Freeman has not had a good day.
Let's take a look and see what happened here. Rubel gets the wall. Oh, yeah, there's Freeman spinning just in front of him, and then for Mike Tellier to go as he slides into the incident.
Freeman actually looks like he ran into the car in front of him in that corner, but there is contact up ahead with Allen and Borscht.
Let's take a look
Yeah,
and
there
see.
was contact.
See what the 20 saw as we saw the incident with Rubel took place after Freeman was out of shape. Oh, yeah, you see it right there. The contact you just described killed the momentum of the 000. Freeman runs into the back of him. Rubel runs into the back of Freeman. Break there for Mike Tellier, who was just trying to get the car turned back around, and up and over that machine goes and had to teleport it to pit road. That's a tough break, especially with the fact that we had 17 cars still running, all 17 on the lead lap. Looks like right now there's going to be 16 on the lead lap, unless the 97 is able to get out there in time. Doesn't look like it. He's still on pit road.
Now I'm seeing Bobby Trapper leading, but I'm also seeing Kenneth Drake kind of lurking back here in 5th. I mean, obviously he has to know that this is really one of his final chances to kind of make a charge at Trapper here, and he needs Trapper to kind of have a bad run here for the end of the race.
I'm seeing here, at least if you look at our top 6, with the exception of David Harvey, every single driver seems to be starting in the lane that they like. Bobby Trapper and Kenneth Drake, they've been using the inside line. Wesley, Gerlach, and Chambron, they've been using the outside line. That's where they all restarted.
Still pop in place, Puckett's around.
And yellow flag will fly once again. Bobby Puckett, who started on pole here tonight in the main event, bringing out the 6th caution of the evening.
Man, I look at that, I kind of want to move out. That's a little bit Puckett. Puckett really sent it in there, but Oleski didn't check up at all.
Take a look and see what happened there into turn 2. Oh, gracious. Was that Oleski up there actually riding the outside wall, I do believe?
You'd be correct.
22 car. Let's take a look at this. Slides into the corner. Chambron and Thornton get little bits of it. There is Oleski. On a little bit of a Tony Hawk move there. A little half-pipe move in 1 and 2, but gets it back on all 4 wheels and drives away from the incident. I have to wonder if that early contact there with Chambron and Billy Thornton was what got the 40 out of shape and then sent him up into the 22.
It wouldn't surprise me a little bit, because, I mean, Puckett really sent it in that turn 1, and it just didn't stick.
So with that caution coming out, we only got 1 green flag lap in. When we take the restart, 14 laps to go here tonight at Knoxville. These drivers definitely making use of all the lanes available to them, all the spaciousness. However, they're going to be heading to another of those somewhat narrow dirt tracks at Limaland, and they will be preparing for that one when we reach the conclusion of tonight's festivities. Also here on Flatout Racing Network, folks, we're bringing you a little bit of double trouble tonight here for dirt track racing. Later on this evening, we're going to be bringing you the G-Force All-Star race, the Rumble at Eldora. That's going to be coming up here tonight in just about 15 minutes, so be sure to keep it here on FRN as we got ourselves a little bit of a dirt double feature here tonight on this Tuesday evening.
Yeah, test out the track a little bit earlier. Man, that thing is fast.
I mean, I'm looking forward to see. We know how the big blocks race around the dirt tracks. I want to see what those 87 cars do at a dirt track. Green flag back in the air. 14 to go here for Bobby Trapper. And I think he may have just found a gear nobody else had, because that is, 4 car lengths into turn 1 he just opened up.
You noticed how great of a start Trapper got, but man, he's sending it that deep in 1.
Drake still down on the bottom. We're looking almost 4 wide there. Chambron in the 0-1. Whoa, Thornton got
Billy
the wall.
Thornton, no, Allen. He saves it.
He did. Great save there by Austin Allen, as now he's stuck in a 3-wide situation. He'll cross over Rubel. Contact ahead between Borscht and I think that was Bobby Puckett. They're leaning on each other heading into 3.
Oh no, someone's upside down. It's Thornton.
Billy Thornton in the 11 upside down in turn 4. Caution's going to fly for the 7th time tonight, and that 11 is not going to get back on its wheels.
I think that was the case of the wall strikes back. Looks like Thornton just kind of ramped off the wall a little bit, just enough to flip him over and just kind of rode him on his roof the entire rest of the way.
That is one of the toughest things about Knoxville, because the fastest way around the track when the inside lines get worn is to run literally right up against that wall. But as we've documented all season long, these big blocks are built with the right side tires exposed outside of the chassis, and those steel guardrails, they will grab those tires, flip the car up into the air, as you clearly saw right there.
Looks like Garrett Gleason's trying to help Billy Thornton flip over here. Not sure how successful it's going to be. Just give it a good ram.
Come on.
Maybe if you use wait. Maybe if you use the apron a little bit, it could flip the car over. Maybe I can get Bobby Trapper to hit him.
Maybe we can get the iRacing pace truck. No, he's just driving on by. He doesn't care.
Oh wait, it looks like Rubel may take a shot at it.
Let's take
just
a
hit him like dead center. There you go.
There you go.
Oh no, now we're stuck. There you go. And Thornton's back on his wheels.
And a standing ovation from the crowd.
And it looks like one more caution lap's going to be added on here just to kind of get the lineup reshuffled here for Billy Thornton to get in.
And it looks like, unfortunately, we do have another driver that has called it an early night, just about 10 laps away from the finish of this one. It's going to be another debuting driver. John Borscht has brought the 000 machine into the infield and into the garage area, so tough break there. He will finish 17th here tonight at Knoxville.
I mean, you got to remember, he was kind of bounced around a little bit, and I think that car just may be a little bit too damaged for him to continue on.
Bobby Trapper was really on it on that last restart. We'll have to see if Josh Gerlach, David Harvey, Grant Wesley and company, if they're going to be ready for when he accelerates this time, as he had about 4 car lengths between himself and the battle for second heading into turn 1. Trapper looking for his league-leading 4th win on the season, looking to continue to open up the points lead and almost make it a dead certainty that he's going to win the championship with 3 races remaining at the conclusion of tonight's event.
I mean, just look at that. That is... If Trapper managed to win this, he's effectively kind of shoot himself in the championship.
Green flag in the air. He went as soon as that pace car hit pit road, or pace truck in this case. Trapper hooks the inside line. Look at them behind him, though. 3 wide, maybe 4 wide with Wesley, Harvey, and Gerlach.
There is some really intense battle going here for 5th. And it looks like Chambron.
Oh, spinner! James Allen.
So
and
green.
He saves it, but somebody else is spun behind him.
Flip.
Oleski's up and over. Rubel in the 4 might have also gone up and over. I'm not certain. I thought I saw another flip back behind. 22 of Oleski went upside down.
I should think that may have been... that may have partially been Freeman as well.
I think it could have been. I think it was a black-colored machine, so it could have very well been the 20 car.
Yeah, it looks like Freeman managed to kind of give the 47 a bit of a shot in the left rear. Made him turn aggressively left, hit Chambron. Freeman spun it around and pretty much just kind of, at that point, it was a roadblock up top.
It was, I think, a 4-wide situation there as well when the 47 had the contact made. So we talk about space available to these drivers, but you have to give room if you're going to make that 4-wide work, and that was not the case here. They were 4-wide leaning on each other going into this corner. Now, Freeman did not go up and over. I thought he did, but Oleski certainly did in the 22.
Yeah, I think it's a bit over-aggressive racing for that. I mean, obviously, I kind of understand where Freeman's coming from. He's trying to get as much positions as possible to kind of make that championship battle at least still there, but...
Well, I mean, Bobby Trapper's out in front. Does that put more of a sense of urgency there for drivers that are second on back in points? At least those drivers like Drake, Thornton, Freeman, who, you know, if they were able to win here tonight and the 69 run into trouble in the closing stages, still have a mathematical chance of maybe being able to snipe this championship away at Charlotte.
Yeah, I think thing where Freeman's he's seeing Trapper up there and just realizing that he has to at least kind of get a good top 5 to be within range still.
Well, a driver who got a piece of that incident we saw was last week's winner, Nicholas Chambron. He's going to be the 3rd driver out of the race. 1 week after picking up in his debut, looks like he will be finishing around the 16th, maybe 15th position here tonight as Trapper gets us back underway, closing in on 10 laps to go here at Knoxville.
And
caution's out. Bobby Puckett. Time tonight that the 40 car has been spun.
And it really just looked like a disagreement. It looks like in front of him, that I believe that was a 27 of Austin Allen. He just did not get going. Puckett ran the back of him, and when Puckett ran the back of him, started to kind of fishtail a little bit and hit Thornton on the outside, and that was just enough to send him around.
We got a car coming down pit lane who's been up inside the top 5 most of the day, and actually he's coming down to go to the garage area. Josh Gerlach in the 071 has now pulled it into the garage area.
You would say, I'm not sure. He may have had something to... He may have had another lead to go at 10. I'm not positive, though.
Well, Josh Gerlach, who had a podium finish last week, Nicholas Chambron, who had the victory last week, neither one of them will be in the running for the win here tonight as they make some early exits here at Knoxville, joining John Borscht and Nick Cohan in the garage area. We've also got Thomas Oleski on pit lane getting damage repaired to his car after he flipped over under the last yellow flag. Garrett Gleason is a lap down right now in 15th, and Mike Tellier has been sitting on pit road for the last 4 laps or so. Right now, it's like if he doesn't return to the track, he'll be finishing in the 17th position. And so right now, we've got, it looks like a total of 12 cars that are on the track running, 11 of them on the lead lap, and this restart's going to be with less than 10 laps to go.
That's the thing, a lot of these drivers, they see that lap counter there, and they're kind of counting in their head saying, hey, every time that there's a caution, Bobby Trapper is kind of hitting his head on the desk saying, I was getting away, I had a good run, I had a good jump, but now I'm seeing Grant Wesley kind of hanging out there too, and I know him on some of these restarts, and I know his tendency to kind of show up at the end of these races, so... But also, Kenneth Dre's got a lot on the line, too.
Definitely does, and it's going to be a single file restart here as well as Trapper gets us back under the green flag, opens up about 2.5 car lengths back to Grant Wesley. Kenneth Drake in 3rd, David Harvey in 4th, and he's actually battling right now with James Allen in the 47. That 47's been pinballed around quite a bit here tonight, but still holding tough inside the top 5.
Man, Wesley's really trying to tear down that wall. Kenneth Drake tried the kind of the diamonding approach down to the bottom, but it doesn't seem like it's really working as much as it was earlier in the race.
Trapper running way up there against the outside
Harvey's
wall
in the
as well, so I think that it's going to come down to if Grant Wesley's able to reel in the 69 machine, Trapper's not going to give him the top. It's more than likely going to have to be the slide job.
Man, and James Allen just kind of did a really dirty slide job by David Harvey. Kind of slid right in the front of him in the mid-corner. But man, it worked. He got it right in front.
Hey, if it works, it works. And both cars still going straight, still continuing on, and both inside of the top 5. Back up towards the front, about maybe 0.6 of a second between Bobby Trapper and Grant Wesley.
David Harvey's in the wall.
To go. Oh, and he's over. Oh, gracious. And no caution?
Rolled over, back on the wheels, caution's out.
He went up maybe a couple of stories there on the steel guardrail, did David Harvey. Had to turtle it back on its roof to get back on its wheels, but Harvey running 5th at the time brings out the 10th caution of the night. 5 laps remaining when we get the green flag.
Just trying to figure out what exactly happened here. It looks like Harvey, that car just was not handling well from the get-go. And that's really resulted in him kind of falling as far back as, I believe it was 5th. But man, he just kind of hit the wall once and it just would not get off. The same thing we saw happen to Bailey Thornton.
It almost looked like the thing just went straight, like the back end never slid out from underneath him to help him make that corner. And we've already documented how those right side tires, if you kind of perpendicularly hit the steel guardrail in that corner, it's just going to grab the car's going to be grabbed by that wall and flip them into the air. We saw that happen earlier on tonight with another driver. And
that's the thing where these cars, their wheels are exposed, which kind of helps him easily ramp off, but ay.
Looks like we'll probably have another single file restart here with 5 laps remaining. With the 17 of David Harvey bringing out this caution and dropping outside the top 5, that now moves Brian Rubel into the 5th position, behind James Allen, Kenneth Drake, Grant Wesley, and race leader Bobby Trapper. Billy Thornton right now is 6th, Austin Allen in 7th, Jason Freeman, Bobby Puckett, and Zane Burke Jr. completing your top 10. David Harvey still in the lead lap, continuing on. He'll be restarting back in 11th. And Garrett Gleason will be 12th. He's 1 lap down. Also back on the racetrack now, albeit 7 laps down, is Mike Tellier in the 97. I think he can, with the remaining laps, possibly work his way up to finish 13th. He would have to complete all the rest of the laps here tonight in order to do so.
I don't know if there's enough time.
Especially with the fact that Bobby Trapper has been really good on this restarts. I don't know if Grant Wesley is going to be able to get to him. Green flag back in the air. 47 of Allen. He got a huge jump.
Man, James Allen's been kind of body slamming people behind Rubel. Thornton. Yeah, Rubel, Thornton, and Austin Allen.
I'll keep it straight, though. That's going to move Jason Freeman now up into the 5th position. Wesley right down on the bottom. He closed up the gap. It's now less than 2 car lengths between himself and Trapper. Closes it up again as he dives into the inside.
And he's going to be trying to kind of give it all he's got here because he's seeing that lap counter time down here, and he knows a caution could come out.
And he does not want to see that yellow flag, does Grant Wesley. I guarantee you he wants to continue to be in this rhythm, try and set the 69 up for a possible pass in the closing stages. A caution now would really kill the opportunity for him to be able to keep the gap manageable between himself and Bobby Trapper. Trapper now up against the wall. Wesley running where the 69 is not, down the inside, trying to straddle the apron. He's only going to have a couple more shots here as it's going to be Trapper coming around and seeing 2 laps to go.
Wesley got a little bit of a wall there. I don't know if it's going to hurt him on exit, but easily still kind of hanging with him.
And the battle behind them for 3rd place is a good one. James Allen, Kenneth Drake. It's going to be Drake holding the spot. Allen almost got the wall, almost rode the wall. That brings Freeman into the vicinity for 4th place.
There's some shuffling back from positions there. Bobby Puckett got the wall a little bit. Billy Thornton looks like he also got the wall.
And Bobby Trapper, in his 9th start of the season, is going to pick up his 4th checkered flag. Wesley, 1 last attempt, can't get there. Bobby Trapper's going to win here tonight at Knoxville Speedway. And if there's any doubt going into the next 3 weeks, you could very well, right there, folks, already be looking at your champion for the TNR Master Millwright Big Block Series.
Ooh, man, that was a bit of an endurance race, a battle of attrition.
Certainly was. Bobby Trapper had to work his way up there from an 8th place starting position. Racked himself up 4 bonus points in his heat with a 2nd place run in heat number 1. Kenneth Drake, again, we keep talking about this. Kenneth Drake always seems to be in the same zip code, but he'll finish 1 or 2 positions behind Trapper. And that's just not going to get it done, especially with only a limited number of races left here on the schedule.
That's the thing where really there's about three main races left, and we heard Bobby Trapper say that he's kind of looking forward to these next few races at smaller tracks.
Well, we're going to talk with our top 3 finishers in just a moment. Bobby Trapper is one of only 2 drivers here this season that have gone to victory lane multiple times. Drake has gone to victory lane twice. Trapper going to go to victory lane here tonight for his 4th win on the season. Here's a look at the finishing results. Good runs for a couple of the debuting drivers here tonight as James Allen brings it home with a solid 4th place finish, and Austin Allen will finish inside the top 10 in the 10th position. Good comeback runs as well for Brian Rubel and Bobby Puckett after they had some issues early on. Billy Thornton as well with a solid comeback run there in 7th. And David Harvey, who brought out the last caution, was able to battle back to finish in the 8th position. Jason Freeman was up there in 5th place, and he ran into trouble there in the closing stages, finishing a lap down in 11th. And a number of these drivers found some hardship in the closing stages. Thomas Oleski, he flipped over. John Borscht and Nick Cohan in their debuts, finishing 17th and 18th. And then Josh Gerlach and Nicholas Chambron, last week's winner, two drivers that finished in the top 3 last week at Cedar Lake, will be finishing in 15th and 16th. They pulled off track early here tonight. Let's see if we can talk with our top 3 finishers here this evening at Knoxville. And let's see if we can kick things off with the 3rd place finisher, driver 2nd in the point standings. Another solid outing here tonight for Kenneth Drake. Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got me?
Yeah, y'all got me loud and clear?
Absolutely. Well, man, we know that Knoxville is a very spacious track. It gives drivers a lot of options to run. Looked like you were a driver that from start to finish was very committed to the inside line. So I have to ask you, because it's very difficult up here in the booth to be able to distinguish it. How difficult is it running that inside line to distinguish where the racetrack itself ends and that uphill area where the apron begins?
Very difficult because sometimes you just roll off in there and miss it. And 1 and 2, you had to be very tiptoe because sometimes I'd hang my left front on the deal, and next thing you know, I'm bouncing across the racetrack.
Now, we saw here tonight that the drivers that did really well in the heats obviously had to start back in traffic. You ended up winning your heat back in heat number 2, had to start back in the latter half of the top 10. How difficult was it to work your way through traffic with so many lane options tonight?
It was 2 lanes. Everybody was just as fast as each other. You had to be careful. I know there were some guys that I felt like I might have been faster of on the bottom, but they were just as fast as I was, and I wasn't going to put a bumper to nobody to move them.
Now, Kenneth, when we talked to you after your couple of wins this season, we talked to you about closing up that gap between yourself and Bobby Trapper for the championship. With him winning here tonight, it's looking like it's starting to slip away mathematically of you being able to reel him in. But does that kind of help you in some ways to kind of change the mentality going into these final 3 races of being able to go out there and just try and find victory lane, not really have to think about points?
I've the last few weeks I've just gave up running for points or running for the win. I've just settled running for second. I figured there's no way I was going to be able to catch him. He's just so tough week in and week out.
Because despite the fact that, it's been a couple of weeks since we talked to you in Victory Lane, your numbers have still been tremendous. Your consistency has been really good, and congratulations on a 3rd place run here tonight at Knoxville. I'm going to give you the opportunity now for some thank you, sponsors, and shout-outs.
Oh, thank y'all for putting on the broadcast and TNR for putting on the league every week. I enjoy coming and running here and racing against some good guys in the big blocks.
It's Kenneth Drake, 3rd place here tonight under the lights at Knoxville Speedway. Congratulations, and best of luck to you next week at Lima Land.
Thank you, guys.
All right, let's see if we can now go and talk with a debuting driver here tonight. 2nd place performance for Grant Wesley. Hey, Grant, Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got me?
Hey, Seth, how's it going?
Well, man, it's going great. When we came here tonight in Knoxville, saw your name on the grid, I knew that you were going to be a driver up there at the front. We've seen you over there in other leagues. Really like this track. You had a shot there at him on that final restart. What little more do you think you needed to be on his back bumper, maybe be able to try and pull up a slide job in the final lap?
Oh, man, I honestly don't know if I had anything for him tonight. Man, he was so awesome there at the end. All night long, like in the heat race, I was out in left field. I don't usually drive the big blocks, and as typically I run the 358s, and just decided to join this series actually because of the sponsor, Master Millwright Industrial. Just by chance, I'm actually a millwright by trade, so I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. So I'm just happy I could even be here tonight. And like I said, I was kind of slow early on. And as the track slicked off, I got better and better. Knoxville's one of my favorite tracks. I ran the bottom. I kind of found the bottom by accident there at the midway point of the race, and it was really working really well. But as you know, I typically like the top side. I know how to run the top side a little bit better. So, I naturally moved up there, and I made a few more moves. I kind of got lucky and got by a couple of those guys and had a quick caution and kind of stole the position. And next thing I know, I find myself in second. And yeah, 69 car, man. Like I said, I don't think there's anything I could have done. He had a bunch of tricks up his sleeve. I mean, he was nailing those restarts. He was doing the slider line going in. I mean, there's about 3 or 4 different ways to get around this track when it slicks off really well, and I tried all of them, and there's just nothing I could do.
We mentioned coming into this race that Knoxville, a very spacious track. Drivers can take it 3 wide, 4 wide, maybe on occasion 5 wide. But for drivers that started back in traffic with 18 drivers taking the green flag here tonight, while it seems like there's a lot of options out there, it almost kind of seems like everybody up at the front, everybody in the middle, everybody at the back, they kind of want to run where the driver in front of them isn't. So when you're running in the mid-pack area, working your way to the front, does it have to be one of those slow, methodical moves to the front, or is there an area you're able to find that you're able to gain 2-3 spots in the course of a lap?
Well, you gotta, try to take advantage of restarts for one thing. I mean, a lot of times you go into turn one, and you never know what's going to happen. I generally try to not be directly behind the guy in front of me, just in case there is a checkup. And sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes there's a checkup and you can get by them by not following them. But yeah, you have to be patient. Starting in the middle of the pack, you have to be patient and just kind of let the track come to you. Kind of pay attention to what the track's doing, where the cars are going, and just try to make your way to the front.
A great debut for you here tonight, Grant, in the TNR Master Millwright Big Block Series. Second place at Knoxville. Congratulations. We're going to give you the opportunity now for some thank you, sponsors, and shout-outs.
Yeah, as always, thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast. You guys are the best in the business, by my opinion. Um, and I'd like to thank these guys for putting this on. It seems like a really great series. I like the way that they carried themselves tonight and the way that they put on the show. I had a lot of fun. Looking forward to maybe running some more events with them. Just like to thank my friends and family that watch on a regular basis, and my teammates at XFM.
That's Grant Wesley, runner-up here tonight at Knoxville. Once again, congratulations, Grant, and look forward to seeing if you're going to take part next week at Lima Land.
All right, cool.
And down to Victory Lane we go. 4th time this season in Victory Lane we talk with Bobby Trapper. Hey, Bobby, it's Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Seth.
Well, man, if there was any doubt coming into tonight whether or not you were going to be winning this championship, I think you just put the exclamation point on it here this evening. 4th trip to Victory Lane, a dominating performance as soon as you got that car up there to the front. Was it the restarts here tonight that really helped you out there late in this one, or do you think that if we'd gone long green flag run to the checkered flag, you could continue to open up the gap between yourself and second place?
Sure, there's so many restarts. I think I went back and forth to feeling like they're helping me and hurting me at the same time. The track started to change about mid-race. I think a little short to move up to the full top, and feel like maybe the guys were keeping up with me a little bit there, and maybe I was missing the groove. But yeah, I'm not really sure. Not usually my best tracks. I'm just happy to pull off a win here.
Yeah, normally we end up seeing you at the dirt tracks running that inside line almost religiously. We saw early in this race you kind of migrated to the middle and even to the top side. Were you experimenting there, trying to see what grip was up there before finally moving down to the inside line?
Yeah, I think I saw in the heat races there in the later heat races some of the guys moving up and sort of the bottom fading away pretty quick. So I figured it seemed like I'd abandon that pretty quick and didn't have much practice to try the line. So I figured it was a good time to try it and see what stuck.
Bobby, congratulations on the victory here tonight. 4th trip to Victory Lane. 3 races left and certainly going to be a huge points gap in those final 3 races. So can't give it to you just yet, but it's certainly looking like you're going to be wrapping this championship up in 3 weeks' time. We're going to give the opportunity now for some thank you sponsors and shout-outs.
Yeah, I just got to thank TNR and Master Millwright and everyone that runs the series, Garrett and Mike, Brian, Jason, everyone else that puts us on. You guys for doing the YouTube post, and yeah, everyone involved in the series. It's a great, fun series.
That's Bobby Trapper. Came in tonight the points leader and leaves as a 4-time winner here in the TNR Master Millwright Big Block Series. Congratulations, Bobby. Best of luck to you trying to maybe pick up league leading win number 5 next week at Lima Land.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good night.
It's going going to conclude our coverage here tonight for race number 8 of the season for the TNR Master Millwright Big Block Series. Bobby Trapper is your winner here tonight at Knoxville. Next week, these drivers gear up and get ready to go dirt track racing once again as we begin to close out the season. 3 races left on the schedule, and we will begin things at Limaland Speedway. If you haven't had your dirt tracking fill here tonight, join us momentarily as we're going to be going live from Eldora for the All-Star race for the G-Force Sim Racing Series. The 87 cars taking to Eldora Speedway. I and Anthony McCurry will have the call for you, so stick it right here on Flatout Racing Network. Thanks for joining us here tonight for this race at Knoxville. Hope you guys enjoyed. For Matthew Rodriguez, I'm Seth Cole. We'll see you guys momentarily from Eldora as you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of the Flatout Racing Network.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.